Thanks for your company here. Residents of Tesano are up in arms over the construction of an allied oil fuel station in their vicinity. They are demanding that the station closes down immediately to avert any possible disaster. Joy News' Daniel Dazi visited the area to interact with the residents.
Most filling stations are cutting fires, and this neighborhood is a residential area, which I knew this place wasn't supposed to be here in the first place. And when they started, we came around and asked questions, and we were told it's going to be a supermarket. And lo and behold, by the time we realized, in a week's, this thing has come up. And we came up and then meet them, talked about it several times, even wrote letters to our liars to serve those authorities who are in charge to make sure this place is closed down. And we have done what we could. Even the case is in court, and yet nothing has been done.
We are not supposed to manage this. If we are managing it, that means money is going under tables. Envelopes are going on the tables. That's management. It should be closed down. This is not a place for a gas station. School children use this road to go to school every time. There's a gas station just across the road, just here. Why wouldn't they use that gas station? Should they build another one here? And the fact that they will enclose the filling station before opening it and saying, oh, it's a supermarket and now it's a filling station, that means there is something wrong. There are envelopes going on the table. That means there is a problem here. So it shouldn't be here. This gas station should be closed down immediately. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have here lawyer Kweku Bwedu, who is also a bit of an activist here in the community. Lawyer, we want you to help us understand the case that has been taken to court.
My attention was drawn to this case by this lady who is just 10 feet across the filling station. Now, if you look, the building behind this filling station is 0 feet. The one to the east is 0 feet. This lady has been in the community. Her house she's been living here for 56 years. This filling station was put up in December, as they have said. Hurriedly put up, ordered, and then within weeks, December, they had finished. So we then took the next step of giving them statutory notice to sue. The woman instructed for a suit to be filed. So a suit was therefore filed. The court granted an injunction in June, asking the filling station to stop operation whilst the matter was being heard. This is where we are so far, and the lawyer will be able to give you better details.
But was the injunction for a limited period, or it was indefinite?
No, when an injunction is granted, the judge grants an injunction telling you, do not operate the filling station whilst I hear the case. So the injunction is supposed to be in place until the matter is heard and the judge disposes of the matter as the judge pleases. But
currently, the filling station is still operating?
Yeah, they are still operating. Of course, there are several ways of continuing to operate, even in the presence of an injunction.
Well, 87-year-old Regina Ivade, as you've heard, is suing Allied Oil, as well as Environmental Protection Agency, the National Petroleum Authority, Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the Ghana National Fire Service, and others for issuing permits for the station to be built. Now, she says the activities at the station have also affected her health significantly.
Yeah, I think it was early January this year that they took off the, let me say, camouflage around the place, and we realized that it was a filling station. And I was disturbed. But what could I do? We wrote first to the Environmental EP Protection Society, or whatever they call them, and then made inquiries, and they said, oh, they've given them a permit. And then the Accra Metropolitan Assembly also, we asked, and they said, oh, we have also given them a permit. And then the National Petroleum Agency also. I believe these three agencies are responsible for giving permits for building of these things. So I thought I had no way, because all three of them apparently have given them the go ahead to do what they have done. Petrol is not a thing to play with next door, you see. So I thought the best thing was to take action. And the only action I could take was a legal one, because they have the legal authority to build. And I have a personal responsibility for my health, and so I needed to do what should be done. And we went to court. I think we went 2 or 3 times, adjourning here and there, but finally they heard the case, and the judge gave me what they call, the lawyers call injunction, is that it? That they put injunction on these people to stop the petrol selling until the final determination of the matter later on. But after we had the first injunction, before we left the court, they have applied for, the lawyers called it what? Appeal, as you can see. In fact, I went into hospital for admission the whole of last week. It's only Saturday night when that explosion happened that they discharged me. When I came home, I came hearing about this petrol explosion or whatever, gas explosion. So that is where I am.
Are you worried hearing something about something like this explosion, that God forbid?
Naturally. I mean, if I live 3 meters from my house and my gate is just out there next to their tanks, if I want to get out of this house, that's where I pass. So if anything should happen, what would I do?
Traders and squatters along the Atomic Junction area are still counting their losses days after a gas explosion left over 100 persons injured and killed 7 others. Meanwhile, scores of victims who barely survived the blast are counting their blessings. In the following report, Komla Adum tells the story of a 46-year-old widow who lost her livelihood to the incident with little hope of getting back on her feet.
It's past 8 p.m. Monday night, and away from the hospital, 46-year-old Vicentia, who prior to the explosion operated a makeshift eatery close to the accident area, is fixing some food for her family.
I'm going to be speaking to her about what she knows about the incident and how she's been coping days after the incident occurred.
Kana mi va to atati ko da kple kura le dura fi le va to mu le fi e pe no kata o fi o pete because no ajo nwa kata mi si du mi hre.
All she's been saying is that on the day of the incident, once they saw the spark, they all ran for their lives, and so essentially all her wares, her money and everything was lost to the fire. And since morning she's not eating. She was just giving 5 cedis by a benevolent individual around here, and it is with that amount of money that she's been able to prepare some food for herself and her family. Medekuku ya waton glonami ega amount of money kemi or lose le event kemi
le Saturday la nduru meno na fiota magwe benyere ka kwete de na dechi no le fie ta le Saturday mela meten plan no abe 900 ne me jire vola me kpona ne be yehowa dasile nwunyira me tekpona be 14 aro 15 ka finye penu ya ogbele ne me bu ikopere wala ya be 200 2000.
She's just been telling us that she told officials that if she calculates the amounts of profits margin she makes on a particular round of food or dishes that she makes in a day, she's hitting about 1,400 cedis. And so she estimated that the amount of money she used to prepare the food plus the profit she would have made plus the rest of her wares that were completely lost to the accident would hit about 2,000 cedis.
A livelihood lost. Bleak hope of getting back into business, Davi Vicentia tells us of her worst nightmare. How to keep body and soul together until they're allowed to get back to business around the accident area.
Fika makwana pele, gamele nyesiu. Efie mele ha ni etremenyo. Esronye cheku vinyele school de fifila oyi e school egbere kakura che me va do gale amere gbo ka fi na ojo ire school.
In summary, what she's been saying is that they do not know where they're going to get their livelihoods from for the next 2 weeks, which they've been assured that they will be returning, or if any activity will return to that area, it will be after 2 weeks. So she's wondering how she's going to keep body and soul of herself and her family together until that particular point when she can resume work.
Albert is one of her sons who helped in the chopper. He's been narrating how he managed to survive what was a deadly accident.
Gas, leaky, ya jogereme. Naleke jogereme la kumya, amegede mi onuka. Misijo, benye pe sister ya. Epe do pe ya. Epe nu zo le fimi gboza. Ta kono josi gbo la eche jo le nu gbo ta nyim no protect be. Ye gbo ntu ya, me no protect be mi atenwa I survive epe new le fima because kono wasi gbo la. And just because probably if you over around and no plastic bella, Chamelo, a Tujiva Mahonka, Masiajo, a Kalaka Yila, probably a Jola, it be a limb. I'm a blind.
Bet has been telling us about how he barely escaped the incident on Saturday. He says that he wasn't feeling too well and he was around here when he heard noises emanating from the fuel station area. And so he went there and he saw the explosion and he was running for his life, essentially. And he tells us that his sister also operates a shop around here which has a lot of property. So they were trying to safeguard the property because people were literally running away. But he had to dive onto the ground just to save himself from getting bent.
For many of these individuals who escaped, getting their lives back on the ropes is all that matters. For this family and others like them, 2 weeks until they're allowed back to business in the area may well appear to be 2 months or maybe even years. But between now and then, getting their livelihoods back will be such a chore. One they did not bargain for, yet don't see themselves surmounting without help from outside. Komla Adom, Joy News, Accra.
As the nation begins counting the cost of Saturday's explosion, government has been quick to announce the settling of hospital bills of affected persons. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has also promised to provide relief items to affected persons in the catchment area. Questions, however, emerge about the plausibility of these promises, considering previous experiences with affected persons. Joy News visited some victims of the June 3 flood and fire disaster to find out how they were catered for after being displaced by the occurrence.
Some people came around helping. I think Labadi Beach Hotel came. They came and helped us with some items. Atinka came around. They came and helped us with water. And then Joy, I think Multimedia also came. We went there, they gave us some items, and then GCB also gave us some items, like phones and then soaperies.
Yeah, apart from the phones and the soap and all that, is there anything else that you received?
No. No.
Yeah, would you say that the things that you received from these private individuals are the things that you needed at that point in time?
I would say no. I mean, we were not having water. I mean, most of our things are spoiled. And then food was also one of the issues that we, encountered. So I think it helped. It helped a lot.
But in the long run, did you get any sort of compensation to, get yourself back on your feet?
I would say no. For that one, you can even see I'm still, in that state, because giving us the food, giving us those things, it helped us that time. But they didn't give us anything that will let us stand on our feet again. They didn't do anything of that sort.
When you say you're still in that state, what do you mean? Have you still?
A whole lot spoiled here. My chairs, my dryers, some of my dryers, and I couldn't, get it how it was.
Some people came here to give us rice from La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. They came out and gave us rice. They told us that we shouldn't light any fire here because of the petrol. So we said, okay, they came and gave us items, and then people also came here, but they put the things over there. Some of them didn't come here to give us the items.
But what do you think you lost as a result of the flood and the fire and everything?
A lot. Like we try to we try to compromise with it because a lot was lost. People around died, and we ourselves, we didn't even get something to put on because everything is wet. And then people that even came didn't give us much. They always give us food, water. But we, for instance, we needed some mattress to sleep on and those kind of things. And if they come, they just put the mattress outside there. They would call us to come. When we come, they don't give us anything. That's it.
Oh, really? Our former president that went last year give us something, but this government, he came, he didn't give us anything.
What did the former presidents give you?
I personally, he gave me 100 Ghana to what? Go and have a job to what? To go and buy some provisions and those things, but
after the flood and fire, he gave you 100 cedis?
100 Ghana. So I went to what? Buy certain things, like some toffees and those things, by God grace, some as what? I'm selling it, and I will be feeding my junior brother, that's in class 5. But right now, God's grace, I'm doing certain things for my brother and I. So we believe that the governments have come, this world, our president has come this place. You should what? Come and help us in certain things that he sent some people to come out, give us to us, but he sent some people like our honorables to come and give us. And
when you say honorables, who do you mean? The assemblymen?
Yeah, the assemblyman that's in this neighborhood. Come and give us the money to what? Buy certain things, and we should what? Buy a clothes and buy my own. I want to buy a provision to sell and again to my brother. I mean,
the mattress in Ketua, any abroni so omo ba di omo peno omo kronfo omo na efa duduano na ya adira tu ye no kakra sikano omo ma ye card de say 4 times no mba ma sikano omo ma ya jama 3 times 1 million 3 times and one
now one no de them scan back.
Sir, I message your mama na di ma ewa ayi ye say abuchiri for e money ye nema and I have for adwumafo kase no o ma cheche nema nti nusa no a o mo jibo mu na o mo de be cheche kakra de mai enu anu no
nti ehema essay na ma eluzi na ma wonsa kan no osia
say so ye kura some be fa no sa me ne dey.
Daniel Daz is speaking to some victims of the June 3 twin disaster on how they managed after that incident. Strategic Energies Limited Cell has dismissed claims the siting of its fuel station close to the UPSA poses a threat to the lives of the students and neighbors. Managing Director of Cell, Johnny Blagoji, says his outfit has installed standard equipment which will curtail any explosion should it occur. In an interview with Derek Ekosam, Mr. Blagoji said his outfit has the required documents to operate the fuel station in the area.
Would you call this another cycle of self-defense?
No. I think I would rather call it another cycle of education.
Where education means?
Where education means the students' body knowing what we have done at UPSC or what the industry is doing, in keeping our retail outlets safe, for everybody, for our customers and for ourselves.
You heard the agitations of the students. For example, they say they don't know how safe the environment is for them, especially as it's very close to their school, and they also claim that it's also in a vicinity where you have a lot of houses nearby. How do you react to all of this?
I thought we had, solved this problem, or we have educated them about this issue almost a year ago. When we started the project, there was some agitation by the students, and we engaged them. And finally, around January 25th January this year, there was a stakeholder meeting at EPA where the student body was there, MPA was there, EPA was there. In fact, the student body even had some lawyers who represented them and ourselves. And a presentation was made to everybody of what has been done at UPSA, what safety measures have been put in place, the standard of equipment that have been used there. And in fact, we have used the international standards from our piping to the equipment that we have used there.
Now, you had a meeting with the various stakeholders. Was it the same administration as in the Student Representative Council?
No, I must say, I think there is a change in the SRC membership now. I heard. So the old membership were privy to this meeting we had. I believe maybe there was a communication gap, or there have been a communication gap for that matter. The students or the entire student body are not privy to the discussions we had. In fact, during the discussions, the stakeholder meeting, the student body requested for documents covering what we've done, which we did and gave it to them,
I think in all of this, one thing that stands out is the part about the human face bits, where they expect that because it's within a community where should there be an explosion like we just had, lives may be lost. Don't you think?
Yes, anywhere there's explosion, the consequences are there. I mean, if there's a gas explosion, the consequences will be the fire spreading, and people can be injured, and there can be fatalities. But what we are saying is that we've considered the vicinity or the environment in which we are going to operate, vis-a-vis the schools, hostels, and pedestrians, and everybody that matters. For that matter, we have tried to make the place as safe as possible.
You're watching Joy News today. We'll take a quick breather here. We'll bring you more stories shortly. Thanks for staying on Joy News today. 2,183,683 people registered to vote in the hotly contested election that will determine the replacement of Africa's first female democratically elected president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. There are 20 candidates vying to head Liberia's presidency. They include former footballer Senator George Weah, Vice President Joseph Boakai, former rebel leader Prince Johnson, serial candidate Broomskin Charles, and the only woman in the race, former model Magdala Cooper. Nia Krofi Smart Abe is in Liberia for Africa News. He joins us on the phone with some updates. Hello, Nia Krofi.
Hello, Bennett.
What can you report?
Well, the voting process has been ongoing since 8 a.m. this morning. It's been chaotic at some places, but at some places it's been going quite smoothly. I'm currently at the Calvary Chapel Mission School, which is in what they call district number 6, in an area called Rehab. I can see that there are long, winding queues of voters. They have, I think, about 3 different polling centers here. One of them, the voters have to go upstairs. The queue is very long, from way down the stairs to to the top of the building in there as well. It doesn't seem to be moving. I don't know what the problem is. I was at a polling station earlier around 8 o'clock, where over there the challenge happened to have been that I think the voters hadn't queued properly, so the security details there were trying to get them to queue properly before they start voting, but then the people were not particularly enthused. Not everybody really knew what was happening anyway. So those are some of the situations that have happened. I've also been around where George Weah, whom you mentioned, the ex-Liberian International, has voted, and also the Vice President, Joseph Wakaya, who is running on the ticket of the ruling party, he's also voted. So far, those are some of the high points of today's exercise.
Nia Krofi, apart from issues with the queues, do we know what caused the chaos in some of these centers?
Well, for now, I'm one observer who works with the civil society group from Africa was telling me that one thing they have observed at some of the places they've been is that there's a kind of a slight challenge when it comes to the register, that sometimes some people's names, even in Ghana, we tend to have such situations where there's a cluster of polling stations. Probably your name will be at Center A, but you may end up being in queue at Center B, and then it gets to your turn, but they can't find your name on the register for Center B. So that's also one other thing that the observer was telling me. So I think apart from the queue being long and also probably not orderly, that could also account for the delay in people voting.
So, Neil, what's the word on the ground? Who do people seem to be going for?
Well, since the weekend when I've been here, initially the word on the ground has been that Liberians say they want change, and that most of them feel that the 12 years that President Salif has been in power, he really hasn't been able to bring about the development he promised Liberians. So they want to get somebody else who will be able to lead the country, bring about the development that they want. And that's what makes about 5 of the candidates favorites in this particular race, i.e. George Weah, Alexander Cummings, who is a former Coca-Cola executive, the Vice President also is the favorite. There's also a former lawmaker, Brumkin. He is also considered a favorite in this race, and there's also another entrepreneur, the UA, who's also considered a favorite in this race. So the talk has been about change. That is before the election, and there's also been talk about the fact that there should be peace in the country. That, I mean, they've had enough of the civil war. They don't want any more of that. So let's just get this on with. Let's get it done, and let's hope that our candidate wins. If not, many of the people I've spoken with, if not their candidate winning, at least they are comfortable with anyone else winning.
All right, finally, Neil, when will the voting end, and when should we expect results?
Well, we expect it to end at 6 p.m. Local time, or 6 p.m. GMT here in Liberia. But looking at the queues, I don't know, but I have heard some commentary that those voters who will be in queue by the time when it ends at 6 will be allowed to vote. So let's see. So officially, polls close at 6, but as to whether everybody would have voted by 6 p.m., that remains.
Well, thank you very much, Nia Krofi Smart Abbas with Africa News, and he's in Liberia, bringing us some updates on the election going on now. We'll bring you more here on your election headquarters. Now, after a heavy downpour early Tuesday morning, hundreds of Liberians stand up at polling centers to vote for their new president. Only a few were at some centers ahead of the opening of polls at 8 a.m. Ghana for years housed Liberian refugees at the Bujumbura camp in the central region. Maxwell Agbagba met some men at a drinking bar monitoring the Liberian elections. They say infrastructure, power, unemployment and corruption are the likely determinants of the election.
Past 12 years. Today, 20 presidential candidates are gunning to become presidents of Liberia. Liberians are going to the polls today. In fact, voting has already started. We're here at the Liberian refugee camp in Bujumbura to find out from them exactly what they think, Liberians living in Ghana, exactly what they think, the issues that would play out in today's election. I have with me about 7 of them here. They're going to share their thoughts with me. Sir, what's your name?
Freeman MCC. Freeman MCC.
Okay. Tell me, how long have you been in Ghana?
I've been here for the past 12 years. Yes.
Tell me, what do you think are the main issues, that would influence the choices that people would make today as they go to the polls?
I'm not getting you clear.
I'm asking, what do you think are the main issues that would influence the direction or the choice that people would make today as they vote?
Yeah, one of the main issues is corruption, and lack of good health care, lack of good education system. All these that just highlighted have collapsed long time. So we need somebody that will come and put this thing in place. That's one of the main challenges here.
But I remember when Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf was elected, she actually said, in fact, let me just quote what she said. She said to make corruption, a public enemy. Are you not satisfied with what she's been able to do? Although, I mean, some people are raising concerns that she has about, 3 of his own children in her government.
No, we come to that statement that Ellen made that she's going to make corruption a public enemy. She did little when it comes to corruption in Liberia. Corruption today has become the public friend in Liberia.
Not an enemy.
Not an enemy, has become a public friend. In every sector, there's corruption. So for that era, she did very little. So we need someone that will come and do more to minimize corruption. It may not even do away with it, but at least you minimize it. But Ellen was not able to do that.
You talk about healthcare also. What's it like in Liberia? What exactly about healthcare? Are you talking about comprehensive insurance, for the citizens? What exactly are you talking about?
Yeah, that is one. And another one there too is we even lack ambulances. The Ebola exposed our healthcare sector that we were very weak in that era. People have to donate their own cars for assistance during the Ebola crisis. So during the Ebola crisis, it really exposed our health sector. That nothing is there, no good hospitals, no good clinic, no good facility. And most of the nurses, the doctors, they are not well trained. So these are some of the challenges in the health sector there.
There are 20 people gunning to become president. Who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, we pray for the best leader to win. I won't say this person should win or not, but for me, I prefer CDC to win. My reason here is from 1847 to 2005.
CDC, that's George Oponwe's party.
Yeah. Education is very important, but from independent to 2005, we have tried educated people, and they have become failure to us over the years, from corruption to corruption, rhetoric. So now, the least educated one, according to them, I think we prefer that to try, because we are in a state that we have no confidence in the educated one now. So we are on try and error now. So we prefer CDC to go and try and see what they can showcase for us.
Thank you. Let me find out from you also. What's your name?
My name is Mark Weir.
Okay. Mark, tell me, what are the issues that you think would play out in today's election?
Yeah. One very key important issue I would say is peace.
Okay.
No matter what, Liberia wants peace. We want a very free and fair election. It doesn't matter who you are voting for. Our individual differences, at the end of the day, is going to be put aside. Liberia should come out as our first priority. So I think peace today, free and fair elections is what I'm anticipating for.
Okay. If you were in Liberia and you're going, inside, the booth to vote today, what would influence your choice?
What really is going to influence my choice are having that passion for my political party, what I believe my political party can bring to the table. I think there are a lot of things that was said to me, and I think that prompts me to want to vote for my party. So if I'm going to the pool to vote, my party is just on my mind and going straight to vote for my party. So that now that I'm not home, I have urged most of my brothers and sisters that they should go particularly for my party, because I believe that's where change is. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Now, your friend talked about corruption. How serious is corruption? in Liberia? I know you told me you've been back and forth, you go and then you come back. Do you think it's really a big issue that would determine who wins the election?
Yeah, definitely.
And you think out of the 20 presidential candidates that you have, I mean, who would you say has demonstrated a commitment to tackle corruption head on?
Thank you very much. With the issue of corruption, if I want to pick and hand-pick out, I will be going to the ruling party because they have been the one twisting and turning our wealth anyhow. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm down with CDC. That's the George Open-Weah's party.
You are down? You are down?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a term we use it in our area.
It means you are with them.
I am with them. You understand me? Because one factor we will look at credentials the other people have, what the thing, the experiences. We look Liberia needs love. All our leaders have. Let's be very serious. And we kind of love this George Weah has for this country. If he ascends to power, I believe, as a partisan, that things are going to change for Liberia because of the love.
We'll bring you more on the Liberia elections in our subsequent bulletins. An Accra District Court has ordered pathologist Dr. Lawrence Adusei and the head of the 37 Military Hospital Pathology Department to appear before it to explain why 4 months after the death of Army Major Maxwell Adam Mahama, they've still not made the autopsy report available to police investigators. The soldier was on May 29, 2017, lynched by a mob at the central regional town of Dentro-Boase, with 23 persons currently standing trial before the court for the act. State Prosecutor DSP George Amega today told the court they had tried without success to lay hands on the report, which is central to the case, forcing the state to make the application for an order directed at the pathologist and the hospital's department. Magistrate Ebenezer Kweku granted the request, directing that the report be handed to the police investigators on or before October 26. The pathologist who handled the autopsy, Dr. Lawrence Adusei, and the head of the 37 Military Hospital's Pathology Department are to appear before the court on the set date if this order is not obeyed. We'll take a quick breather now. We'll bring you more stories. Grateful you stayed here on Joy News today. 4 more bodies have been retrieved from the Ofin River, bringing the death toll in last Saturday's canoe accident to 5. The bodies of 2 children aged 8 months and 10 years were among the 4 retrieved early Monday. Long News' Erastus Saridonko, who's been monitoring events, reports 1 person is still missing.
The water level of the Ofin River is still rising as rescuers search for the last victim in Saturday's canoe tragedy. The bodies of 2 girls were retrieved in the early hours of the day.
Behind me, bodies of 2 children, one 8 months, the other 10 years. These are girls. Their bodies have just been found. They were traveling with their mothers across the river Ofin to their farms when the canoe they were on capsized after hitting something that has not been described yet. It's been 3 days. Divers have combed the entire Ofin for them. This morning they had some luck and their bodies are covered with leaves over here. Due to that, to my right is the Amadan LA Primary School. Children have been asked to stay home because of this.
After going a mile into the river, we found the older girl and later got the baby. On our way back, we could sense some stench under a tree in the river. We were sure some of the bodies are locked up there, but we couldn't bring them out. We are not done yet. We will go back for them.
Mother of the 2 children, Alex and Olivia Mensah, is in a state of shock. Mrs. Mensah survived the tragedy on the river Ofin, but had to watch as the river carried away her 8-month-old baby and 10-year-old daughter.
Some people in it jumped into the river
It then capsized. After getting to a tree nearby, I held it tightly and later realized my baby was not at my back. I was gripped with fear. I was shaking.
Really sad story there, but that's how we end this edition of Joy News today. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Bernice Abubedu. Many thanks for your company. The Marketplace with Emmanuel Abuajiriafe is next. Do enjoy the rest of your day.